Critters in Taiwan.
Long COVID's real deal. It's a real thing, legit thing. People that laugh about it and they're like, no, it's real.
Yeah, I didn't lose my smell or taste at all.
That's
which was
cool.
good. I got real minor symptoms, but yeah, I don't know. Hey, check out the. I think I just figured out that,
Ooh.
Caldori Republic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that they're taking a little piss at. Is that the right term? Taking the piss at Banana Republic, I think.
Oh, 100%. That's exactly where that comes from.
Yeah, with the bear, it could be Trinket. Who knows?
Could be. Mm-hmm.
Because that's the only bear that we care
I like
about
it.
in the campaign.
I want some. I'm gonna have to order some shirts.
Yeah, and all that shit that you sent me that thing afterwards. You're like, oh man, a lot of the shit's kind of like chintzy.
I know.
So far, the shirts have been great.
Well, the shirts are the one thing that everybody across the board says the CR shirts are money. They're good. They're good quality. They're all good. It's the other stuff. Oh, okay. The hats and the scarves and the beanies and those things are not
like other clothing items.
Yeah, other soft gear. Yeah,
this dice seems to. I mean,
fucked
me over the last few.
I think it's I think it's some of the stuff that they get made in China that is just poor quality. It's just not good.
Yeah, and we are China adjacent. We kind of understand.
We are China.
Yeah. Hey, we're on, buddy.
Hey, we're on the internet.
Hey.
Excellent. Welcome to Critters in Taiwan, a D&D podcast about Critical Role, where a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors sit around and play Dungeons & Dragons. I am Ben in Kaohsiung.
I am Tim in Taichung.
And we're a couple of critters, and Tim, I'm on holiday.
Oh, you got Estrella go. Oh, a little crickety-crackety. Well, let me join you, bud. Hold on a second there.
Cheers. This is the first time I've actually had a beer on stream, so I'll...
At least one that we could see.
Hey, cheers.
Cheers, buddy. Vacation starts for you today.
Dude, I am off to Thailand, the land of smiles, tomorrow afternoon.
Is that what it's called?
I'm excited. The land of smiles. Plural. Yeah, plural.
Vertical
many smiles.
See, yours is horizontal.
Oh, okay. So I am officially on vacation. I finished my last class this evening, and I am now...
You're rubbing off on me, man. I'm feeling like I'm on vacation.
I'm excited about it. I haven't had a vacation since I went home to Canada this spring. So, but it also means I may or may not be able to stream to catch the episode this weekend. So I'll do my best, but there's a very good chance that I won't be able to watch it Friday and or Saturday or Sunday. Well, we'll see. So it might be off the air next week, may not be. I don't know.
Yeah, we like to play things by ear around here.
Yeah. There's a good chance I'll get to watch it, but then being able to stream from Tuesday. Ooh, see, we normally record this on Tuesday, and we may be in transit at that point in between Bangkok and Phuket. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'll do my best.
At least it's a short flight, Bangkok and Phuket.
That won't be the problem. It'll be the situating, getting settled in, and everything that's associated with getting a new hotel and then
the travel business,
exploring the neighborhoods.
Sure,
Who knows what happened? But
man, I really
anyway,
go to Thailand. Yeah.
This evening we are talking about Campaign 3, episode number 42, the penultimate episode of 2022.
Penultimate? Wait, they said that might be this might be the last one.
No, this is the penultimate. They have one more.
Oh. Didn't they say in the beginning? They said this might be or did they say penultimate?
They said this is the second last episode of 2022.
Oh, okay.
They said next week will be the last episode of 2022.
Oh, maybe I was thinking like with you and me. Yep. I was like, oh, that means that this is our last one.
It's close. It's going to be close. So anyway, this is episode number 42, The City of Flowing Light.
There you go. Just name the city,
Just name
give it the nickname.
Yes. Man, listen, who was I talking to? I think it was, we played D&D on Sunday, and one of the guys, I think it was one of the guys I play with, I don't remember which one it was, but one of them was talking about how Matt is one of the best. We know he's one of the best DMs out there, but he is definitely the best storytelling DM out there. His description of EOS had me I was frozen, staring at the TV in sort of awe of how he was describing this. I want art of EO so bad. I sent you that message.
Yeah.
I want art of this city so badly.
I felt
so
bad
bad.
closing my eyes, because I'm trying to watch people doing the game, but I wanted to close my eyes while he was doing it. And like, I kind of pull a Taliesin when that happens. Taliesin fucking, he shuts down the sensory and then he just like lets the art happen,
Yep.
And so I was
Liam does that
cards.
often as well. They just close their eyes and they just sort of focus on let their imaginations go.
Yeah, let it
Love it.
emulate a book.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yep.
You get to make your own images instead of seeing the movies first, and then it fucks up all your imagery. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the episode is called "The City of Flowing Light." I would put a star beside that and call this the gas leak episode, but that's just me.
The gas leak episode.
Taliesin, it was funny because as I was watching it, I started laughing at it all. I'm like, wow, they're really ending the shit out of this episode. This one is like they're really rolling with all of this stuff. And it sort of got me thinking, I'm like, yeah, there's definitely something in the air. It's one of those episodes that is weird and wonderful, and they laugh a lot, and it's really entertaining. A lot of zany, wacky shenanigans going on.
Zane going on.
And I'm just going to throw it out there without even rolling it. At 3 hours and 18 minutes, Taliesin actually goes, yeah, this is a gas leak episode. This is the gas leak episode of ours that we have that don't know what it means, but it's something.
But it doesn't happen much in the third campaign.
No, it hasn't.
It's not a new game for them. It's not new for them to be on the internet.
And I have a theory about it, if I may.
Yeah.
The past couple of episodes, we've sort of been talking about how they've been really kind of all over the place and really been happy and in a really good mood. I think it's two things. I think it's number one. I don't know if we talked about this last week or not, but number one, they just came off of a big vacation. So they did the Mighty Nine reunited, and they did they took a week off and then 2 weeks, and then so they basically had a month off.
Yeah.
I follow them on
pre-record
Instagram.
all that shit, and like they just like, all right, just put it on. It's
I
like,
follow
it's like
them on
pre-recording
Instagram.
shit for fucking Instagram or whatever. Like,
Totally.
I'm good for 3 weeks. Let's just
Absolutely.
go.
So I follow a bunch of these guys, and they were traveling all over the place. Sam, the Rieger family, was off in Arizona on a ranch and some of the other guys.
It's pronounced Rigel. Come on.
The Regal family.
All right. Well, if you want to say it wrong twice, go ahead.
Funny enough, it's funny because one of my good buddies here in town, his family name is Rieger, and I think that's where I went.
It snuck in.
Yep.
Are they going to see the episode?
Yeah, probably not. He's not a D&D guy. But I was messaging him today about other things, and that might have been where my brain just went. Anyway, the Rigel family,
well done,
was on vacation at a dude ranch in like Arizona or someplace like that, and Marisha and Matt joined them for a while, and then I think like the bunch of them. Speaking of which, Sam is actually snowboarding in Utah, I believe, right now.
Is he snowboard or ski? I thought he skied.
He snowboards.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's out with his family snowboarding. He posted on Instagram today. Anyway, they went on vacation. And LOVM season 2 is airing.
I think we got the trailers.
The trailer, yeah. So I think there's a little zeitgeist going on, and they're all in really high spirits because of it. Just a theory, just an idea.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also like when they record the stuff, they must be stoked about it. I mean, the last time you recorded an album, you're just like, I can't really talk about it right now. But man, that take was amazing. And you kind of leave it out of the public eye, like how you felt about it. But then when you release it, you can, that's why people have documentaries about releasing an album,
Totally.
Because they just want people to feel what they felt when they were doing it, when they were laying that shit down.
Absolutely.
Man,
so I think there's a whole bunch of that going on, and they've been a little bit giddy these past couple of episodes. So it's been fun.
I mean, if Travis is giddy, everyone's gonna be giddy.
It's super infectious.
Matthew.
It's super infectious. Yeah, they love it.
Because like he's just the one, just like he's the CEO of the company, sure, but he's also just CEO of mood at the table. So if he's on fire like he was 2 episodes ago,
totally, it's one of those things too. Because I think they still get a kick out of his chutney. the character. They still get a kick out of his old man voice and the attitude and all of that. It's still kind of novel. So it's that, and then it's bumped up, and then it's bumped up, and they're just all in a really good mood all the time.
It's like hanging out with Travis and Chetney at the same time. Forget about it.
Very much. Very much.
Man. So shall we get into it? We might have to go a little bit fast today, yeah? So you can get ready. D20.
Yeah, I got some. I should pack. Apparently, you're supposed to, when you go on vacation, you're supposed to pack.
That happens like in the hour prior to my going to bed.
I know. That's what I did have a couple of things I had to do, and I have a couple of other things that I have to take care of. I have a dog.
Yeah, remember?
Around here somewhere that has to be looked after. So,
she was in frame for a second. She took off that way.
Yeah, she gets bored when I start talking at the TV. She has no clue what's going on.
All right. Well, let's get some rollies then.
Here, 20. Let's go.
Woo! Starting strong with a natural fucking 1 again. Jesus.
Ooh, that dice is not hot. I got a 17.
Man.
Listen.
That's twice now that I've rolled a 1.
Yep.
Right off the app.
Right off the hop. That's right. Hey man, I don't know what to tell you.
No, mine. I can't see right off.
Maybe have you done the saltwater test with those?
I have not.
Maybe give it a go. Just for the 20. Take a shot glass, super saturated with salt water, spin it, see what happens.
I got to get a shot glass. All right.
Just a regular glass. Any glass.
I do have a ton of salt. That shit never goes away.
Nope. All right. Well, listen, I told you I did a deep dive when I was on my second go around. The first go, I couldn't figure out what was happening. They leveled up, but it didn't show. Something was going on and I couldn't figure it out. So the second time around for the level up, I did the deep dive and I for the beginning of it, and I was like, oh, this is why Laudna is going to learn Fireball. This is why Orem is. So this is going to be a big go. This is why Orem did his thing with the with his sword stuff. This is why Ashton and Annalyn had their hammer montage. This is why FCG went after what's her name? The cook, the crazy bugbear. Denalia, the bugbear. That beautiful, beautiful, wonderful bugbear cook on the skyship that made me smile so much. Made everybody smile, I think. So anyway, when they leveled up,
he was nice.
I think I sent you a message about this. Level 8 is a big one because level 8 is the ability score increase, the ASI. It's a big thing, but the ability score increase is generally regarded as kind of boring. So what people normally do is they take what are called like half feats, a feat that gives you something and an ability score increase. So at level 8, at level 4 and level 8, you get a +2 ability score increase. You can +2 to any one or +1 to any two.
Right.
Ability scores.
Right.
There are these
ability
things.
Scores we're saying like
strength, dex,
constitution, all
con,
that.
wisdom, intelligence, charisma. Yeah, those guys. So most people just straight up do them, or they take a feat, or they do what's called a half feat. So like the half feat gives you a +1 to an ability score and a little bonusy kind of a thing.
Okay.
So here's with help from chat and from Reddit and from my own. I went and looked at their level 7 stats and then compared them to the level 8 stats. This is what happened. If
I didn't notice their stats.
Yeah, they went up. So Chetney, Laudna, Fern multiclassed. So we don't know what they did. There is a, and I'm not gonna. If you out there, if you went deep and you found out what they did, kudos to you. But it's too complicated. I don't know what I don't know what their multi-class levels are at. So if Chet is Bloodhunter 6, Rogue 2, or Bloodhunter 5, Rogue 3, I don't know. Laudna is Sorlock, so I don't really know how many of each. And Fern is Druid Rogue, so I don't really know. I'm guessing Fern probably is 7-1. She probably just took 1 level in Rogue.
That's my impression I would get.
Sort of guess, but
yeah,
you never know. Never know.
Did you get any information from watching them roll the dice? Because you can tell which kind of dice they roll, right?
Yeah, except that Rogue and Druid and Bloodhunter's fighter, so they're a D10. I think Chetney did take a level in Bloodhunter because I think he rolled a D10. Laudna is sorcerer is D6 and Warlock is D8. So you can tell that way. But with Fern, they're both the same. It's both D8, D8.
Only so much you can glean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard to. It's even then. It's hard to say. They don't. It's not like they keep it close to the chest. It's just that they don't say it. So it doesn't.
I was gonna say, yeah. Like, do they have a place where it's like, oh, this is what we did?
No.
Like
When they did that, they posted on
design.
YouTube the video of them leveling up. I don't know if you watched it or not.
I didn't.
Okay. It was a quick one. It's only a few minutes long. They rolled
hit points. I mean,
they all rolled pretty high, except for Ashton, who gets the D12. He rolled low. He rolled I think he rolled he rolled a 1, which he gets to re-roll, and then he rolled a 3. So I think that's the way it worked. He rolled a 3. I'm fairly certain, but it doesn't matter because if I can here, we know for certain. These things. They didn't say this, but we don't know for sure, but we know it's true, that Ashton took the Crusher feat at level 8.
Okay.
Crusher is a fun one.
Explain, please.
Can I, okay, I'll do the Crusher first then, sure.
Can I finish?
Well, I know what, so we don't know what Chet, Laudna, and Fern took because they multi-classed, but we know that FCG, Imogen, Orem, and Ashton took. So I'm just gonna start with Imogen because it's easiest. Imogen went straight up ASI. She did her +2, +1 to Dex, +1 to Charisma. Done.
Okay.
Real
Did she
simple.
even out? Did she get the bonus?
Yes, she did. Yeah. So it became the numbers. The numbers are great. She's now at 20 Charisma and 16 Dex. I think. I forget. She put a straight +1 to each of those to bump them up. Awesome.
To get the next, yeah.
To get the next bonuses, right. Ashton took the Crusher feat. And Crusher is a exclusive, it's hammer, mace, bludgeoning weapon thing. You get a +1 to your con or your strength. He took a +1 to con. So that gives him 8 more hit points it gives him 8 more hit points because his con bumps up 1. Right. So that's a big bonus at that level. It's huge. It's a neat one. So you get a +1 to your con or strength. He chose con. You can once per turn, when you hit a target, you can move them 5 feet away in any direction.
Oh, for fucks.
Yeah, that's cool. But the neatest, if they're the same, as long as they're not one size increment larger than you, which makes sense because you can't move a dragon away from you. It's just,
can you move yourself though?
No, you move the target up 5 feet.
Right.
Away.
Okay.
Right. But the real kicker is when you crit somebody, everybody gets advantage against that target. Yeah, it's cool.
What are the limitations on that? Like for how long? Like
for one turn. For
the rest of that turn?
For the rest of that turn.
Until his next turn or
until the beginning of your next turn.
Until the beginning of your next turn. So if you crit, it's like bros.
Everybody gets advantage on that dude.
I mean, he's going to have to communicate that, right? I mean,
that's the idea.
Without table talk, it'd be like, get this motherfucker right now.
They'll talk about it. I mean, Taliesin was really good about it with Caduceus, with the when he first did it, that thing with Yasha, with the giving her the channel divinity thing where everything is vulnerable, so it doubles all dice. I don't know if you remember that or not, but he gave that to Bo, he gave it to Yasha. It was a good one, and they communicated that at the table, that they talked about it. So yeah, they'll do it for sure. It's a big one. I like it.
I trust Tal. Yeah,
I really like that. I really like that feat. I think it's in character with who Ashton is. It keeps him with the bludgeoning weapon, the big hammer, the glass hammer that he's got. It's cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
And also choosing Constitution over Strength. That makes sense based on what they've been going through these last couple of times. You know, like with fighting fucking Chetney when he turned into this fucking 8 feet across, this giant beast of a thing. A couple of people went down, you know, and like when they fought Odahan, people went down, and it's like if he's just like the last one that's up, it's like, dude, I still have hit points, so I can fucking pour a potion down your fucking
absolutely.
throat.
A +1 to strength.
Group. He's not looking out for, glass cannon or shit like that.
Absolutely. The +1 to strength is nice, but it's minimal compared to what +1 to con can do.
Just the extra 8 hit points, or you said 8, right?
Well, it'd be like you get an extra because they're level 8. They would get an extra. It's retroactive.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, so it goes back. So his con goes up by 1. The bonus goes up by 1.
Right.
So then he retroactively gets 8 more hit points because of 8 levels.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, I think that's a fucking damn good move. I mean, 8 doesn't seem like much, but
no, it could be but it could be the difference.
It could be the difference between totally. Going down or staying up.
Totally, could be
absolutely, and I think it's a damn good call. Very good playing on his part.
So yeah, I agree. I think it's a great one. Orym took as his feat at level 8 skill expert.
Okay. I mean, immediately sounds right.
Yep. This is a really interesting one because normally rogues take this. So for a fighter to take, well, not normally, there's no normally, but this is sort of a recommended feat for rogues to take at some point because rogues are skill monkeys, or bard would be good for it too. But a fighter to take this is interesting. So you get an immediate +1 to any ability score. He chose any of the ability scores +1. He chose charisma. He bumped up his charisma by
so you
+1.
choose one. Okay.
You choose one, yeah. Anyone, you choose one, and you add a +1 to it. Then you get proficiency in any one skill.
Oh.
Any skill. You did. We think that he probably chose persuasion. Well, the community thinks he probably chose persuasion. Unsure. But it with the charisma bump, it would make sense. Yeah. He could be becoming the face of this party. So it very well makes sense that he could be persuasion. He's a good guy, so it sort of tracks with it. But then the real kicker, and here's the fun one, you get the third thing. So all of these half feats, you get 3 things. So he gets +1 to any ability score. He chose charisma. He gets proficiency in any one skill. He probably chose persuasion. Then he gets expertise in any skill that he is proficient in. And we know which one he took expertise in. Perception. Remember they talked about later on in the episode, his passive perception is
29.
So I broke it down. It's a base 10 plus his wisdom, which is +3. The expertise gives him +6. Observant feat, which he chose earlier, +5, and his shield gives him +5 for a total of 29. Which means
on a shield.
Yeah, that shield, his dad's shield, is a big deal. Derek's shield. It gives him 29, but it also means because he's got expertise in perception, it'll put his passive perception at 31 next level. Obscene.
It's like, why even roll anymore? It's just like, you're going through and like, by the way, Orym, you notice everything.
Well, because passive perception is different than active perception.
Of course.
His active perception is still going to be high. It's going to be like +9 or something like that. But he still could roll a 1. The passive perception at 29 just means he's sort of it's very difficult to hide, as Imogen found out when she was trying to sneak away from the group, right?
Yeah, it's like noticing versus finding, or
right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So there is a difference there, and I'm figuring Matt's going to figure that one out very soon. He's going to. I think he's got to combat that at some point.
Like with not Laudna, Imogen. Going, she went invisible and went to the window. That's the kind of thing that would be like, Orym would pick up on that. He would, because he's always got his head on a swivel, as he says. He's like, by the way, head, swivel. He's like, all right, roll perception, And he's like, always got this, I think he rolled a 19 that one time.
Well, he gets advantage. The shield not only gives him a +5, it also gives him advantage on every perception check.
Did this come from EXU?
Yes.
That thing?
Yes. It came from EXU, but with a backstory. It came from EXU with the backstory that it was from his dad. The sword is from his husband. The shield is from his dad. His dad was Derek from Dallin's Closet.
Yep.
If you remember. So
if you haven't forgotten.
Anyway, that's Ashton. That's Orym. I think I've kind of saved my favorite for last, which is FCG. So FCG, again, straight cleric, didn't multi-class. It looks like, again, we don't know this for sure, but we know it's true. It looks like he took the chef feat.
Chef.
Yeah. I knew you would love that one.
Elaborate, please.
It's a really, really, really fun one. So again, like all of these half
What
feats,
Sam does.
it's beautiful. It's so perfect for FCG, and it'll make sense. You'll understand why. Like all the half feats, he gets a +1 to either wisdom or constitution. He chose wisdom.
Okay.
You become proficient with chef utensils because, of course.
Yeah.
And then here's where the fun thing is. He gets to make food. Every upon completing a short rest or a long rest, he makes food for 4 people plus his proficiency bonus, which is +3. Okay. So he can make food. He can make food for 7 individuals.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If they eat his food, every short rest they get an extra 1d8 hit points.
Temporary hit points.
No, they get every short rest. They roll an extra 1d8, and they get that many hit points recovered from a short rest.
Not even temporary.
No,
it's just fucking
recovered.
hit points.
Recovered, yeah. So if they take a short rest, they get an extra 1d8 hit points. It totally makes sense for his character. But I'm not finished.
Chef.
There's one more. Every long or short rest, he can make treats.
Okay.
Little tiny cookies. This is where the Asteros cookies are coming in.
Oh boy.
He makes. Remember, he went on the skyship and he started making cookies he was learning how to make cookies from the bugbear.
I didn't notice because I wasn't aware of this.
Right. So
I just thought it was something fucking nut. I thought it was nothing.
So these little treats, every I think it's every short rest or every long rest, he can make up to his proficiency bonus in treats, which is 3. And these treats last 8 hours, and they give you, consuming one of these treats gives you temporary hit points up to your proficiency modifier, which is 3. Yeah.
Just like little things. Like, I'm going to give you a treat. And you're like, oh, thank you.
You get
3.
+3 temporary hit points.
Which is so tiny, but definitely FCG.
Exactly.
Dude, that's adorable. That's amazing.
100% adorable. It tracks 100% with his character. I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved every moment of it. Dude. I was giggling away for hours when I started researching and diving into this.
It's great. I love how small of a thing it is, but like for FCG, it makes perfect sense.
Yep.
This murder robot is in this programming somewhere, but he just he's making treats to help people.
So good. It's so good. It's so good. I love it.
Man, nice deep dive. Jeez. How long did that take you?
Not long. It took me the second watch, and then when because I turned chat on with second watch. Yeah. People started talking about it. Did FCG take chef? And I'm like, what's that? So and then I look and I'm like,
there and search it.
Right, it's a +1 to wisdom, and then it's this because initially when I first watched this, I was like looking at their stats and I'm like, they all leveled up. That means they get ASIs, they get the ability score increase, but it wasn't reflecting on their stats. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. So when I started watching chat, I was like, oh, so it's Crusher, it's Skill Expert, it's Chef. This is why chat is valuable, because it does actually
helps us understand some shit, man. Yeah, I feel like I just learned a ton. Because like this last episode, I mean, just me missing completely that learning stuff from the bugbear about snacks, completely just like no idea why, But now after having this conversation, which is why this podcast started, because I learned so much from you because you do these deep dives.
Yeah,
because you have this knowledge of it, and also you subject yourself to the fucking chat too.
Well, that too. And Reddit, the Reddit community is also great. I scroll through and laugh at them. Mostly a lot of laughing at them, just giggling away at people's.
Yeah, I had to duck out. I might resubscribe, but I'm still banned.
There's still some things that I don't know. I don't know what Chad or Laudna or Fern did with their level up. I don't have the patience to really dig into that. And excuse me, because that takes time just to figure out it's inference, because you will never know for sure.
Right. I bet there's some people out there that have like it down to like 3 or 4 options.
Yeah. they'll figure it out. And the other thing is, like with all of this, like we saw Laudna going after Fern, getting fire advice. We see Ashton doing the versus Annalyn with the hammer time stuff. You see FCG learning how to cook from the bugbear. Like they RP'd the shit out of these level 8 upgrades. So it was beautifully well done.
This episode, like, okay, so right now I'm playing God of War Ragnarok, and every now and then you get to a point where you like learn a new skill or learn a new ability or some sort that just opens up other parts.
Right.
You know, so you don't have to like mash forward on the story. You're just like, I remember that this thing. So you go back and you go around this lake and you do this thing here instead. I feel like maybe now after this information that that's kind of what they're doing. They're just like, we have these new things. Let's play with it. Let's RP it, you know.
And again, this is what brings us into the gas leak part of this episode, where they're playing with it, they're having fun,
they're
and they're just
stoked about their new shit.
Exactly. Well, remember when they were yelling at when Sam makes that comment, "Stupid Ashley," when she rolled too high to get rid, so they didn't have an encounter. That's the immediate desire for combat when you level up. You've got these new toys. You want combat so you can try this shit out, and it doesn't happen because of the dice.
Fucking so Ashley. She always rolls what you don't want her to roll.
What you don't want to roll.
That's what she does.
Exactly.
She just rolls what you don't want her to roll.
Totally. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. So that took a while, but yeah.
Fucking hell, we can end the episode right there. I think that actually kind of crosses off a couple of these things.
I'm sure it does, and I apologize for that, but it's great. It's all great. Related. I couldn't do them one by one. It had to be the whole thing, all in a thing.
Yeah. So like, I'm not going to yes and I guess with this, but one of these things was like, what the fuck was Fern teaching Laudna? It sounded like Fireball.
Fireball. Like, well, she would have learned
around and learn it, and I was like, in the back of my head, I was like, well, she must have learned something when she leveled up, but why would she have to learn it from her? Maybe it's just role play. It's role play for the show.
Absolutely, absolutely. So but, like that sort of stuff is fun to do, and I try and bring that into my home game a little bit. To sort of like make it more interesting as I'm learning. I took my character's level 7. My rogue arcane trickster is level 7, and at level 4 I took crossbow expert, and I tried to make it like part of the game where I was like playing around with my crossbow. I was like changing the string on it, and I kept telling the guys, I'm looking for we found an old smashed piano, so I took a bunch of the different strings out of the piano, and I was like, I'm collecting these strings, and I put them together, and I was like trying them for different things and preparing for. This was at level 3, I think, preparing for the crossbow expert, so I could sort of rationalize it and sort of make it make sense, as opposed to just being like
the story RP wise, instead of just like, oh, here's the new thing.
As opposed to being Mario and just jumping on a magic mushroom and boop 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 boop, and then you're just bigger. That doesn't really make sense in D&D. It's better to have reasons for things.
D&D has this tether to reality that video games don't have.
Exactly. And I mean, you can make it however you want. Like you can meta. Every table is different. That's the beauty of it all, right? You can do whatever you want. But I like the idea, again, taking cues from Critical Role and using them in game.
There you go. Yeah.
In my own game.
Like we've said so many times, like you've said more than I have, it just makes you a better player watching the show.
It really does. It makes it more fun.
How they RP and how Matthew goes about things.
I giggle at it. Listen,
BLM, watching him DM. Oh man,
exactly. I stole pocket bacon from Bo a long time ago, and I've got my character.
I think it's in thousands of games across.
I'm sure
the
it is, but it was a funny moment because the guys kept laughing at me. They're like, "Why?" I keep pulling at different moments. I pull out some bacon to give to different people. I'm like,
"Where's the bacon coming from?"
We found a dog, and I was like, I pulled some pocket bacon out and I give it, and they all laugh at me. And then
pocket bacon.
Then the DM, he's slow watching Critical Role. A couple of months ago, he showed up before a session. He was like, now I know where pocket bacon came from. He finally caught finally caught up, and he was like, you're stealing stuff from Critical Role. I'm not stealing. I'm borrowing ideas.
It was, I mean, come on, put bacon in your pocket. I mean, that's not trademarked, And I'm pretty sure it happened in the first campaign, but in the second campaign, it was like, of course, I'm taking pocket bacon.
Yes.
Everywhere they went, Bo always had it in their pocket.
Always had pocket bacon. Exactly.
Yeah, to the point where we called it pocket boken. But that's only a very few of us.
I think that's only you.
Just me? Fuck.
You might be. Did
You're out there, you call
you
it Puck and Boken, we'll put it on it.
did you do
Well,
your
that does actually kind of cross out two of my fucking few notes here. But with when I'll yes and with this just to keep things moving forward. I was very confused because I didn't figure that Laudna was going to learn Fireball from Fern for whatever reason. Because does Fern even have Fireball?
Oh yeah, she absolutely does.
I just don't.
She may not have it yet because again we don't know what level druid she is.
Right.
But absolutely, Circle of the Wildfire Circle, whatever that's called, absolutely gets Fireball.
Okay, so maybe she has it now.
She might not have it yet. She may not have used it yet. I don't know.
That's the reason I was confused about it. It's like just because she has like this fire elemental, like fucking
again,
Mister.
if you're paying attention out there and you're watching, maybe you can infer what level so the Fireball is a level 3. They would have to be like level 6 or 7. So if Fern has done Druid 7 Rogue 1 or Druid 6 level Rogue 2, maybe she doesn't have Fireball. Maybe she just got Fireball. I don't know.
Right. Oh boy. Okay, so I was a little confused about that, but I'm just going to yes and with this side thing.
Go.
And something they didn't do, but I was fucking waiting for the first and second time I watched this was the Fireball went off, right? And it charred things. Nothing caught on fire because there was enough dew and all that shit.
Yep.
And then I think it was Imogen that was like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
And in my head, poof, this image of fucking Fern just like charred, hair back, like all just like, "No, I'm okay,"
Yeah.
And it didn't show up in the RP, and I was so disappointed both times. I thought maybe the first time I missed it, because then the second time I was like, dude, a fireball just went off in your face. Now that she's looking like
that
Victor,
moment, that moment got away from them a little bit because I don't think they really realized that learning to do fireball also means testing fireball, which means that it would explode on you and it's a fireball, so it would do a ton of damage. And it took Matt a few seconds to get that point across to them, and I don't think it even caught up with them at that point. So they were making, Sam made a couple of jokes about it a little bit later about how your fur's all gone and there's a bunch of stuff, but again, it didn't really resonate with them. They were like sucked into the moment of RP. So it's that's one of those moments where Matt could have stepped in, or somebody could have said, "You just fucking set off a fireball, like a fireball."
Imagine what you look like right now.
I had to go look it up too because when somebody said, "I think your monkey, like Mister's probably immune to fire," I went, "Oh dear Jesus, maybe." So I looked it up, and sure enough,
it's been said before.
Mister is immune to fire, so it would have done.
Because when I heard that, I was like, of course, because
there are some traits to Mister that Ashley/Fern have been sleeping on. Unsurprising. Unsurprising that Ashley's missed a few things, but I was reading through the list of stuff from Mister, and it's crazy. Like he's
got like a few hit points, but
the abilities and the things that it can do, and the teleport and the fire spirit thing and all of that, it's pretty fucking powerful.
Yeah,
it's
got
pretty
a lot
wild
of stuff as long as he stays alive, because I don't know how long it takes to get him back. Because he's not. Is he a familiar like Frumpkin was?
No, it's a wildfire spirit. So it sort of replaces, like, you remember Keyleth being the druid, the Circle of the Moon. Yeah. They're the ones that can cast spells in beast shape and do all of that stuff. Like, they're quite powerful. Right. This replaces that. Like, they can also change as a bonus action, which is enormous. So the wildfire spirit makes up for that by being pretty powerful. I think she can summon it as many times as she has beast shape. Like, if it goes away, she uses one of her beast shape slots to
just bring it right back.
Bring it right back. Yeah.
In the same fucking 6 seconds.
Well, I think it's an action to summon it, because I don't think it's a bonus action to summon. I think it's an action to summon. So yeah, you could do some action to summon, bonus action to move or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's movement or attack or something, right?
Something like that.
Kind of like a
Yep.
spiritual weapon or something. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
I'm writhing in my seat right now, and I can edit
Okay.
this out, but I got to take a piss.
Okay, go.
I'm not sure
Go.
why, but I'll be back in a sec.
I guess that means just me. Yeah. Oh, hey, I'll say one little quick thing. Ben Hamilton, if you're paying attention, we caught your message. I mean, Tim obviously did. He replied. Yeah, we appreciate that because we knew that the Mighty Nine had leveled up between their last episode and the reunited thing, but we forgot about the level. They ended at level 15 and then went to level 16, or ended at 16 and went to 17. So yeah, well done. Good on you. And if you know any more stuff about the what Chet, Laudna, and Fern may have leveled up to, drop us a line, send a message, let us know what you think or know about what they did or did not do. Like I said, we know what FCG, Imogen, Orem, and Ashton did. We don't know Chet, Laudna, and Fern's level up progression if they did levels up in Bloodhunter, Rogue, Sorcerer, Warlock, or Druid. We don't know. We can guess. We just don't know.
Jesus, where the fuck did all that come from? Fucking hell.
From Mary.
Apparently. Well, I like that I didn't hear anything that you just said. So when
I was just talking to our good friend Ben Hamilton about stuff that he said.
Ah, cool, yeah. Cheers, Ben, for getting in touch.
Yeah, man, we appreciate
it. Greenspoon, you can go fuck off. Well, I mean, you don't have to. But you're on vacation, so you're fucking off. Hey.
Okay, are we on
the rolls, eh? I think we just said the same thing. Let's do it. I mean, I might have to retire this day.
I just rolled a natural 20.
I just rolled a fucking 4.
Okay.
I'm going to salt test this motherfucker.
I definitely think you should salt test it. Give it a go. And then if it is fucked, send it back maybe or contact them. Okay. So I'm going to, oh man. Okay. I'm going to throw this one out there. I've got a few. Playing off the RP stuff, when Orem made that little wolf figurine for Chet, the little terrible one, which is a funny moment when he said he ordered one off of Etsy and it was too good, so he didn't have the. It's too bad he didn't have the insight to actually. I'm talking about Liam here. Have the insight to like smash it up a little bit and ding it up and be like, yeah, here you go. Here's the little wolf figurine. But I really enjoyed their little role-playing thing that they had, and about Chetney saying, yeah, well, maybe in a couple hundred years you'll have something that'll be good enough to be a paperweight, and like those but that's
what
all
a dick thing to say.
But it's all out of love, right?
Yeah.
Like he's like, no, don't tell anybody about this. I'm just gonna hang on to it so nobody will see it. So it's like he genuinely loves it, but he's a fucking grumpy old man. So he's not gonna,
a bit of an elitist when it comes to craft,
It's just a grumpy old man thing to do. But where I'm going with this is right directly after that. No, the best segue ever. Yeah, here's this wolf figurine. Look at my sword. Right? Like it's just this genuine moment. And he's like, and then he starts talking about very childish, very
in a good way, yeah.
Bing, little stars in the eyes, sort of a thing. He starts opening up about the gods, and I suddenly realized, he's like the gods, they're paying attention, the gods are watching. He's making all these comments about how he put the sword into the scabbard and whatever, put the sword in, and then he's like, I brought it out, and it's like it's got vines, and it can do this, and it can. I really, really, really would love to see the stat block on this sword because he's throwing the vine up and then chopping it and doing. I'm like, I really want to know what that is. That's fucking crazy. Hella cool. I'd love to know what this sword can do. But my point is, this campaign has been really, really, really light on religion. Really light. The only one that is remotely religious is FCG.
Yeah,
and
remotely,
and
only recently.
Only recently, as he started looking at the Changebringer, like these past few episodes. Yeah. So we don't really know what, and so for Orem to kind of make the statement about the gods are watching, sort of, it got me thinking about what religion means to these guys, because in a D&D fantasy setting, gods are so friggin' important. And then this is where this is my second deep dive, where I started going really deep
too. Jeez.
Think
this
about where
episode for you.
Think about where they've been going lately. Well, EOS really opened my eyes, because EOS is like this Middle Eastern vibe of Marquette in general is the whole continent is sort of got a very much a Middle Eastern, East Asian, not East Asian, Western Asian, Middle East kind of a vibe to it, where it's and it's so much about, like, when they get into EOS and
maybe
it's
Southern
like this,
Asian perhaps.
Sure.
Yeah, Mid East, Southern Asian.
Yeah, that works too. Whatever we're talking about. It's this very, very erudite city with universities and colleges and center of learning, orcish with turning these stereotypes around and
waiting for
spinning
that to
things.
show up. It seemed to wait later into the episode before it's like, oh, by the way, and you notice all these orc people.
It feels like Exandria is entering sort of a Renaissance period where they're moving out of the dark ages of religious nonsense into more of a scholarly thing.
I like this.
And it suddenly got me thinking. I'm like, wait, is this where the gods need to take their revenge? Is this where the Calamity 2.0 comes in?
Because they're getting pissy.
Because they're losing religion in this world. It feels like, even when they went to Whitestone, Percy and Vex are not very particularly religious things, and they're sort of introducing guns and mechanical engineering into the world, and these scholars in Marquette, and who knows what's happening in Wildmount, and it's these. It got me sort of thinking big picture about what is happening in Exandria right now.
You might be onto something here, because in campaign 2 with the whole traveler thing, the idea came about. I don't know if it's been a long-standing thing or if it was just kind of came up there, but maybe you have information on that, or maybe you all do and get in touch. But like, the more followers you have, the stronger you become.
Oh, that's definitely a D&D thing across the board. That's
it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Because if what you're saying right now is like this kind of Renaissance kind of thing where it's like, all right, well, we're not going to focus on that so much. We're going to do this.
Right.
Then if it's across D&D, then that means that the gods are getting weaker right now.
That's the point. Exactly. So that's absolutely the point.
And it's like, nobody gives a shit about the Changebringer. If nobody gives a shit about fucking, I guess it happened with fucking Pike's chick.
Sarenrae.
Yeah, Sarenrae. She was
it can't be Sarenrae in Critical Role. It's the Sarenrae is the WotC god.
Oh, right.
It's, the naming thing is a problem. Naming thing is a problem because they're trademarks and stuff.
Right.
Whatever. Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The Lightbringer.
The All Light or whatever. What did they call it?
Lightbringer.
Lightbringer.
No. I don't. It's
whatever it is. We have the episodes. We can do it. Whatever. Get in touch.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
I'm gonna say that just all the time. But like where Pike was like paramount in her becoming a much more powerful goddess, right? Totally. Yeah, now, that makes sense. As long as as far as it coming across the board, fewer followers means weaker god, more followers, etc.
If we take this one step further, then we could say there's a divine gate type of cage around Ruidus, preventing these imprisoned gods from escaping. If Exandria is entering sort of a Renaissance period and they're losing their religion,
we all thought it.
Does that mean that cage that is surrounding Ruidus grows weaker, which then allows the imprisoned gods to escape?
I think no. I think
incredible conjecture. I have no idea.
I think the cage retains its power no matter what, because it's not a god, so it doesn't go up or down based on
who made
people
it
and followers. But the more that people learn that, like, wait, these two unknown gods, these forgotten gods, the more they learn about them. They've talked about this in prior episodes.
Yeah.
Like, the more we learn about them, the stronger they might get, but we don't know who the fuck they are. They could be good, they could be bad. One of them could be good, the other one could be bad, you know?
Right, but who made the divine gate? Who made the cage around Ruidus? Who made this?
Guessing
shit?
It's got to be some other deity.
It's the gods. It's the deity. The prime deities made it. Well, they talked about this.
Yeah,
they've talked about this in in campaign 1 and campaign 2.
Mortal's going to make something that strong to contain two
and if
gods.
If they're not as strong, do their constructs also become weaker? I don't know.
Yeah, perhaps. Hey, maybe there might be something that comes up.
I have no idea. It was a really interesting sort of a thought process, like a fun little thought experiment that I was going through about as we got into EOS and as we started seeing these things. I was like, wait a minute, what does that mean for all this? Because Orm's been talking about gods a little bit, and they haven't really. It's been very religion light and etc. That's all. That was my whole second big. Those are there's only two. Don't worry. There's only those two.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and yes and with this one. Going back to like. This is also kind of cleared up with what you already said about the levels in your deep dive. But it says here, like, did Liam add the vine work himself, or was it given to him as a weapon sheet, where you get this new weapon, like this is what you can do?
At one point, he holds up the little piece of paper that Matt gives them for these things, and it's
one
quite
mistake
big.
when he was describing something, right?
Yeah,
he made one mistake. Matthew was like, "Actually, it's this." He's like, "Oh,
it's
shit,
not
my fault."
Yeah, it's not 20 feet; it's 15 feet. So
right,
that's a difference, but still crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I'd love to know. I'd love to see it. And maybe at some point
we just don't know, eh?
No.
But like,
and they'll keep. This is something that Liam will keep close to the vest until he gets to actually use it in combat.
Right.
Then he might start leaking some information about it. But
yeah. And I have complete trust in Liam to never breach any kind of trust or rules or anything. Liam's like. Even more so than Matt, like,
yes,
rules as written, Yeah. Well, that's a tiny one then. So I guess we're back to rollies, eh?
Let's go to rollies. Let's do it. I'm
gonna
still
get
on my
20
first
right here.
page of notes. Ooh, 11.
That's a 9. Fucking Christ, dude.
Wow,
I can't
3-0.
get shit.
3 and
I should go back to my Matt dice instead of the fucking Fjord dice.
Not a terrible idea. Listen, I want to see fan art of this of EOS so badly. This 3-tiered lake.
I'm sure it's come out, dude.
I've looked, it's not yet. I've been looking almost every day, looking for it.
You remember back in fucking the show, where people would go from Thursday to Tuesday.
I know.
And these massive works of art come out. Between Talks Machina,
I know it's a sad state of affairs with fan art these days because they're submitting it and they're really not showing very much at all.
Maybe
it's
because
sad.
we're the only fucking show on the internet that is actually talking about the shows now instead of fucking Talks Machina.
Well, Four-Sided Dive is getting better.
There's no fan art though. There's no fan art on Four-Sided Dive, even on the intro and the outro, as far as I remember.
Okay, I'm going to throw this out there as my thing. The fact that gambling is the ultimate rollies. Just it was so much fun watching them gamble, which was just rollies. That's all it was. It was just rollies and rollies and rollies and rollies and rollies with different dice, not always a D20.
Compounded
all
rollies,
the dice. Yeah. That's all. I thought it was so much fun. It made me remember like the in the casino. So I did I'm a very new DM. I told you this. You
pointed at me or them?
Yes. I'm a new DM, but I did before the campaign that I am running, I did a one shot for a bunch of my DM buddies. So there was 4 of them, and I brought an extra guy in. So there was 5 people, my 4 buddies that were pretty much lifetime DMs. I brought them in as a thank you, and I DM'd a one shot for them, and it was basically a gambling. It was a casino heist. They had to go in to a casino. They were all members of a thieves guild, so they were all rogues, and they went in and they did an Ocean's 11 kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It was sort of like your job is to break in and steal this fist size ruby, I think, that was being held. There was an emerald. I forget what it was. A gem that was being. It was in the casino boss's safe, and they had to break into his office and the owner of the casino and break in. But it was really an excuse for me to let me and my buddies gamble. So I have a giant
in a casino, right?
Right. So I had a giant big container, whiskey jar, whiskey container thing filled with 50 NT coins. And in Taiwan, the 50 NT coins are gold.
Yeah.
So I gave everybody bags of actual gold
dude.
At the table. And I'm like, here you go. You can gamble with
special
these.
touch. Look at you.
It was really fun. So I gave them all this, but I had inside the casino, they didn't take them long as they were wandering around. They started glancing up, and the ceiling of the casino is riddled with catwalks, a maze of catwalks all over the place, with wizards with wands patrolling, looking for cheaters, looking for people that are going to be using spells, using any form of kind of a way to cheat. And it really surprised me that Matt let them get in there and start casting spells. I was like, no.
He tried to call Imogen out that one time. He's like, dude, that's a verbal and somatic spell. And she's
tried,
like, no, with this, I just have to think it, and it rolls the dice. And she rolled lower, which was great.
Yes, yeah, or the same. She probably rolled a natural one and then rolled another one, I'm guessing. But
according to the reaction, that seems right. Yeah.
Even that, like, there should have been some sort of, in a casino where it's high stakes, like a lot of gold
established, especially 50 buy-in. Come on.
Listen, we go to Vegas now and there's eye in the sky everywhere. They're watching everything.
I mean, it's usually cameras instead of people with wands, but the cameras are, they're tuned in. They're watching you, of course.
Totally. So that was sort of my hot take off of it. I'm like, wow, that's surprising.
Well, I'm going to keep it on the on that second half thing. I had this I had this job years ago where I was teaching adults, and every now and then, if you have an idea for they call it a lobby session, where it's you get your prep hours for it, and then you have 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon where you these people come in and you do something a little extra that takes longer. So I had a poker set, and I was just like, hey, I could teach people how to play poker,
Okay, cool.
And they're just like, oh, that sounds good, so you can prep on it, and, you teach them for this one, then you play for these two.
Sure.
It was a lot of fun. It was on paper. But you basically just get people that don't know how to play poker, and I'm not great, but I know the rules and I know how things work.
Mm-hmm. You're talking Texas Hold'em here, right?
Yeah. I mean, well, because that's definitely what's the most popular at the time, for sure. Right. We discussed other things too, but even less so what kind of poker you're playing. The idea of people seem to love the idea of folding or raising, but they don't know the difference between calling and checking. Even though they mean the same thing. Yeah. We saw
that with Sam, right?
Yeah, he's like, fold, and immediately Travis was like, you don't there's
fold when there's
And I saw that too, and I was so glad. I felt a kinship with fucking Travis at that moment. I was like, you don't. We said at the same time. We both shouted at Sam at the same time.
Yep.
You just check, But also, if you check, that communicates something that's like, I'm gonna wait. It just gets me every time, especially after having those classes. It's like, dude, just check unless something changes. You don't fold before nothing changes. And
what do they call them?
Matthew seemed to also not understand that too.
Yeah.
Which bothered me a bit because he's the one that's making up the games.
This is
an established fucking casino where the rules should be very well established. And I'm sorry, Matthew, you should not have a poker game unless you understand poker that well. So I'm glad Travis was there to call everybody out, but I'm just sitting there just suffering just as much as Travis was.
I feel like when they entered the casino Skyport Lounge Tavern in whatever this huge building. They entered it when Taliesin went downstairs, or Ashton went downstairs and got the drinks, and then he came back with all of those drinks.
Nice.
And I was like, that's amazing. But I feel like Matt was like, oh dear God, now I have to remember all those drinks in case they order more. I feel like there was a glitch there where he kind of went, oh fuck, and it threw him off of his game, and it kind of set the tone where he was like, I'm losing control. Okay, it's all good. It doesn't matter if I lose control. I just have to pay attention to what's going on.
Or just watch the episode again, then write it down then. You know? Yeah. It's documented for sure.
Yeah.
That was really cool. Like
it was.
Taliesin, he can be awkward sometimes, and you sit there like, I'm gonna do a thing. I'm gonna do a thing.
They called this one a corpse reviver. What if it works? The best line. Beautiful line. Beautiful.
It was wonderful. Hey man, we're coming up on an hour already, and you got some shit to do.
I do. Unfortunately, I gotta. Yeah, let's do another one, and then we'll call it, because I do have some stuff to do this evening. Right. Unfortunately.
Well, I'm gonna get a natural 20 on this one because I haven't rolled one yet on this die.
All right.
So let's make it happen.
Do it.
Natural 2, right next to the 20.
Wow. I get a 6.
Did I win 1 today?
Nope.
I've lost them all, eh?
Yep.
Started with the 1, got the 4, had the 9, and now a fucking 2. Jesus.
I got a bunch of stuff to say, but most of it has already been said because we've gone through. Oh, I'll throw this one out as just a fun thing. Orem named his sword. This is Seedling, the Wayward Pilgrim. What
the reaction he got from that was so cute.
Yeah, chat exploded. Chat was all tears and hearts, and it was wonderful.
Seedling.
Instant Lord of the Rings vibe. All I could think of was Tolkien. I'm like, this tracks for Tolkien so much. Like you get Sting, and you get I don't remember what Gandalf's sword was called, but there's every sword and weapon had a name that was it was these beautiful elvish weapons, and then he's got this short sword that is Seedling. It was a wonderful Tolkien vibe to it.
It was wonderful. It was beautiful. Well done. We know you're watching, and just fucking well done.
It was so good. It was so good. I loved it, and everybody did. It was just
what happens with those things is like that looming elephant in the room. It's like, what is this new group going to be called? And like I hated it. I hated that tension the whole time. And then when the name came out, you loved it, and I was like, I don't like it, And then now I like it, because it defines itself eventually, right?
Exactly. And then my group. Sorry, just a quick little sidebar. My group that we sit over there and we play. We are level 7. We've been level 7 for a couple of sessions now, and we just named ourselves this session. It took forever. Nobody was into it. Nobody wanted to come up with a group, and it didn't. It just happened.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's wild that it took that long. Like, we've traveled
level
through
7,
several.
Yeah, that's a long time.
We've traveled through several different planes of existence, and we haven't named ourselves. Like, it took a long time. So it does take time sometimes.
So are you going to drop it or what?
Not yet.
So with Liam,
mostly because I forget.
What?
I kind of forget. I wrote it down.
Oh fuck! I just didn't want to say
it. There's a couple of there it is. There was a couple of variations because we came up with some stuff and we started laughing about it, and then we're calling it. Sorry, do you mind if I interrupt?
Get in there. I want to know what this is.
We started this episode.
Oh, he's getting shy, y'all. He's getting shy.
This past session, we dropped 4 fireballs. Our party, they dropped 1, and then we dropped 3 in retaliation. It got fucking mental in tunnels. Things got gnarly fast. Yeah, it was crazy. So we started laughing about how crispy everything was. Okay. And then we're like, yeah, we haven't had a shower for a long time. Like, we're going to be really crusty. So we're now called the Crusty Boys. It just happened.
Excellent.
Our party is now the Crusty Boys.
Like any band you're in, it's like, dude, you start writing songs, and as soon as you have like 8 or 10 songs, You have to come up with a name yourself instead of let people give it to you. Because
Totally.
to book a show, you have to have a name. And it's like,
name.
well, shit,
Right.
nobody knows who we are. So we have to... Giving yourself a nickname is like the most cringy thing that I can think of.
It's terrible.
I always hate that idea, you know? But if somebody brings it on you or if something just works out perfectly, that's ideal. But it just doesn't happen in music, you know?
Anyway, go on.
With Liam, I trust him, you know, and I knew he was going to put effort into it. He's going to put time in it. He's going to put heart into it. You know, he's going to put brain and heart equally into it. And he comes up with the Seedling, the Wayward Pilgrim. Is that right?
Wayward Pilgrim. Yeah. And just by the way, that's again also is a Gandalf reference because
of course it is.
Gandalf the Grey was the Grey Pilgrim. The hobbits called him the Grey Pilgrim.
Of course. And Seedling, it was just immediately made me think of Sting, where it like glows, you know, and it's vine bait. You know, it was just like, you nailed it, Taliesin. You nailed it, Liam. Like you fucking nailed it. And he's just raising his expectations. He's always so good at this shit, you know? It's like you trust him that he's going to be able to do that kind of shit, man.
For a guy who never
eventually
didn't grow up playing D&D, brand new to the game, just like here's a birthday gift. I'd like to learn how to play this game. Has turned into one of the great D&D players and DMs because he DMs a home game. So
yeah, and a stickler for the rules. I feel like we're kindred on that one as well. And in Mighty Nine, he was like, "We're called the Mighty Nine." You know, and it just was, that's it. And it's like, holy shit, that is it. You know, perfect.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to do a quick little ESN. In the very beginning of the episode, I liked this because we talked about this in our last episode, that Matt immediately addresses the trial. You know, because it was kind of like, it was supposed to be Chetney getting control over what it is to be like a full-fledged member of the Gorgina.
Right.
That, you know, that's not exactly what it was for. It was more to learn more about himself, etc. And he didn't do shit. He was out of control. He was attacking his own people.
Yeah.
But what got him under control was his mates doing the right things, and like fucking Laudna putting that fucking block in the moon.
Yep.
You know, and then like it was kind of like, wait, was that a trial for fucking Chetney? I mean, he didn't try Chetney at all whatsoever. You know, he just came
Not so
back
much.
and was like, oh shit, it happened again. And he immediately came in this episode saying like, yeah, from the Gorgine, a member of the Gorgine themselves.
Annalyn.
Thank you very much. Saying this like, hey, you know, as much as you can control yourself, the people you travel with is just as important, which is a common theme across the campaigns. You know, like when Grog, you know, it's like, where do you get your strength, my friend? Right? You know, like it's a pretty common thing in D&D, I'm assuming. It's not just you, it's the party.
Absolutely. Right? We talked about this a fair bit about the whole idea of D&D, the reason like D&D parties shouldn't work, but being alone is suicide. Right. Like you in a fantasy setting like this, being alone, you're dead. You're done.
Yeah, there's no chance of survival.
That's right.
You have like
That's right.
If you're a healer, you can't drive them away. If you're a battle person and you get taken down, you can't come back to life.
Right, you can't come back. Exactly. You need friends. You can't. Nobody gets there on their own.
Yeah, I can be a great drummer, but without like a proper good songwriter, I got nothing.
You're just banging with sticks at that point.
Yeah. Hey man, so we're at an hour 8, so let's call it. I got a couple more little things here, but they're tiny things.
I'm just gonna throw
one from last week, but
I'm gonna throw one quick one out.
All right, go ahead.
You think this is actually Shithead? At the very end of the episode, do you think it's Shithead? I have my doubts, but
I have my doubts.
Matt did say he found you. He found you.
I'm like, I missed that.
Yeah, it's like yeah. So maybe I don't know. I still have my doubts about it. I don't know. I'm curious.
Maybe Shithead's going to come in as some kind of being that actually makes a difference.
What is it exactly? What is this thing? Is it a bird? Is it some weird familiar? Is it like some sentient being? What is it?
Playing the long game, man.
I'm excited to find out. I'm very excited because they're going to start the episode with that. It's going to be amazing.
Man, wait, are we waiting though? Are they taking this next week off, or
no?
We just
there is
next week off.
No, well, we may not. Depends on my schedule.
Right.
If I can actually sit down and watch it and or communicate with you.
Yeah.
But I'll be on the beach
there, so I'll have to set up.
I'll be on the beach at that point, so maybe we might do a quick. We could do like a real quick conversation about some stuff.
Sure. I mean, I'm sure I would love to chat with you about it. So
yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's remember, this isn't about these dumbasses watching. It's about you and me having a discussion.
Right. First and foremost, let's
Fuck these viewers. You know.
Listen,
are you with me?
I gotta go. I got stuff I gotta do. So let's wrap this up.
All right. Sounds good. Well then, if we're gonna call it there, then maybe we'll see you next week, but maybe not.
We'll try. I'll try my best.
Find out what you got to do for yourself. And please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Remember what I said last week about, don't listen to Ben, listen to me. Unsubscribe for everything and just subscribe to us, right? And if nothing else, don't forget to love each other. And is it finally Friday?
Woo!
Shit. Peace, everybody. Peace.
Word. Take it easy, bro.